Hi, thanks for joining us for today's demonstration of the Adventures in Time and Space craft project that we made. Today we talked a lot about maps, how they are made, the different problems with some of them, the different kinds of maps, and the sorts of things you need to have on a map. So for our craft project, we're going to be making a map. If you picked up the kit from the Eaton Public Library, you should have a brown paper bag, some dried coffee, and some tea bags. You're also going to want a pair of scissors and a tray to work on. If you don't happen to have a brown paper bag, a piece of white copy paper will work just fine. To start, take your tea bags and throw them into some hot water. You don't want a lot of water, you just want to make it something that's nice and dark. Go ahead and set them aside so they can steep. Take your paper bag and with the scissors, take the end of the paper bag and simply cut it off. You should now be able to open your bag. Find the place where the paper bag is joined together. Mine's over here. And simply snip that apart. You now have what is already a really great surface for a pirate map. Any good map is going to have a title. So go ahead and write in the title of your map. Library Treasure. Then you're going to want to have a key and a compass rose on your map. So go ahead and mark off a section for your key. Go ahead and draw yourself in a compass rose. It can be simple as an arrow with the letter N, or much fancier, if you so choose. There you go. There's a nice little compass rose. Next, go ahead and, if you want to, you can decide on what symbols you're going to use. I'm going to put in, that's going to be my path, and a circle with an X is going to mark the treasure. And then go ahead and draw in your map. Now, I happen to be working in the library's room, so I'm going to draw in the library's kitchen. All right, I now have a very simple pirate map. Now, in order to make this look a little bit more like a pirate map, there are several things I can do. First, and be careful before doing this, take a pair of scissors, and you can use any pair of scissors. It does not have to be a big fancy pair of scissors like this, and use it to simply scrape along the edge of your paper. What you're doing is adding microscopic tears and bends to the paper, thereby making it look like it's an older piece of paper. You can also simply take a corner and tear it off like that. If you do that, though, make sure you do it before you dye your paper. I'm not going to bother going all the way around my paper, but you can see right there that it already looks a lot older. as opposed to this side. Now, for the actual dyeing of the paper, make sure you take your tray and put your paper on top of it. Now, with the brown paper, bag paper, the tea is not going to do a ton to stain it because it's already pretty brown. If you're working on a piece of white copy paper like this, you can take the stain and simply add, take your tea that's been brewing and simply add some tea to it, and that will create a darkening effect for your paper on its own. Simply apply it. Don't use too much, but use enough to cover your piece of paper. Does not have to be evenly applied. Like that. Now, paper, however, doesn't dye evenly over time. It doesn't age evenly, particularly old paper. So, if you're working on the paper like I was, that's where your coffee's going to come in. Simply take a tiny little bit of coffee and sprinkle it onto your paper. You can then add a drop of hot water to it, and it will spread out and create spots of deeper color on your paper. This is called foxing, where paper has received differential aging because of impurities in the paper. In our case, we're introducing the impurities. Once you have your paper as you like it, go ahead and set your oven to about 150, 170 degrees, whatever the lowest setting on your oven is, and put your paper in for about 5 to 10 minutes. Keep an eye on it to make sure it doesn't burn. And this is what it'll look like after it comes out of the oven. From here, you can go ahead and fold it up like any good pirate map and give it to your friends. Thanks for joining me.